Water, the essence and the source of life. Water, irreplaceable by any other substance. Water, comprising 70% of the Earth's surface and of the human body. Water that we drink, that we use in our homes, in factories and in the fields, that we transform into energy for a more comfortable existence. Water, every drop of which we take from nature to improve our quality of life, can be returned to nature. And every drop is vital for the survival of humanity. Every drop matters. Approximately 96% of the total surface water on planet Earth is salt water. Another 3% is trapped in glaciers and ice caps or below ground in aquifers. Less than 1% of all the Earth's water is located in easily accessible surface freshwater sources such as rivers, lakes, and ponds. In other words, contrary to widespread belief, the quantity of fresh water on Earth is highly limited. Despite limited water resources, worldwide consumption of water has increased dramatically over the past 50 years. Worldwide annual water consumption, which was approximately 1,000 cubic kilometers in 1940, has doubled by 1960 and is approaching 5,000 cubic kilometers today. Scientists have determined that whereas world population tripled from the 19th to the 20th centuries, during the same period, utilization of water resources has increased sixfold. Worldwide, the average annual water consumption per capita is around 800 cubic meters. Today, 20% of the world population, or 1.4 billion people, are consuming below this level, while 2.3 billion people have significantly less water available. If precautions are not taken, in just 40 years' time, almost half the countries in the world will face a water shortage, and close to half of the projected world population of 9.4 billion will lack water. But water is a renewable resource. It is possible to utilize it in a sustainable manner. The proper utilization and management of water resources, giving equal opportunity and benefits to stakeholders, is not merely a dream. Expensive, time-consuming, extravagant, giant investments don't need to be made. All that is necessary is to find rational, creative, ecologically friendly solutions.
4 children every minute that die because of diarrhea, caused mainly by unsafe drinking water and poor sanitation conditions. You also have the situation where women have to walk long distances in developing countries to fetch water. And of course, this also means that girls then cannot go to school, unfortunately. So there are various ways in which the impact is there. All this means that clearly there's a lot of urgency to do something about access to water and to the management of water. Every drop matters, as the name implies, makes the case that we have to be really cautious and very careful in the use of water. And the origin of the project really starts, if you like, with the Millennium Development Summit, which was held in the year 2000, which was attended by all the heads of state of 180 members of the UN.
We believe our business cannot exist if the communities in which we operate are not sustainable. Therefore, there is a common objective between the Coca-Cola company's business objectives and the objective of having sustainable communities. So these kinds of projects and our business are interlinked so well together that we do these projects not because we anticipate an immediate return on our sales or profits, but because our livelihood depends on sustainable communities. Now, sustainable communities can be achieved if the Millennium Development Goals of the United Nations, the 8 goals that have been established, are met, if we're making progress towards the goals over time. Now, one of those objectives is about water. It's about providing safe drinking water, access to safe drinking water in communities. This is a huge task, and no one on their own, no institution on their own can accomplish this goal. We have to work together. Governments have to be involved, NGOs have to be involved, and the private sector have to be involved.
Every Drop Matters, the Regional Water Partnership Initiative, started in 2007 with a duration of 5 years and focused on the countries of the East Europe and the CIS. So in total, we target 21 countries. And so far, we have established our projects in 6 countries on 7 pilot sites and in one regional project, which is covering the whole Black Sea Basin.
When we have established the partnership between UNDP and the Coca-Cola company, we prioritized 3 focus areas. The first one was water stewardship to increase access to safe drinking water. The second one was to promote responsible water usage among industries. And the third one, maybe the most important one, was targeting increasing awareness among communities for responsible use of our water resources.
Ostev River flows from Tavush region in the northeastern part of Armenia. The river has a length of 133 kilometers, passing both Armenia and Azerbaijan. The river basin has an area of 2,589 square kilometers. The beautiful nature of Dilijan, as well as historical and architectural monuments and sites, has always been favorable to tourism development. However, intensive water pollution in this area is one of the most important factors that hinders tourism development in the city. Because of the lack of sewage treatment plant in Dilijan city and the deteriorated conditions of the city's sewage system, most of the city's sewage flows into the Ostev River.
We're trying to solve this issue using our local budget sources, but actually it was not possible. UNDP responded to our request, and after that the government also agreed to allocate some financial resources to solve this issue.
The logic of the Every Drop Matters initiative in Armenia is based on ensuring the environmental sustainability on the part of the Ostev River passing through the city of Dilijan, and modeled as a vehicle for local economic and especially tourism development. This vision is based on one of the fundamental tenets of the concept of sustainable development, the creation of economic incentives for wide support to environmental protection.
We decided, in cooperation with the local United Nations Development Project, USAID, and local government, to initiate this project to repair the sewage system, and also to initiate the water treatment which gets into the water. As a result, we will have a clean river, Akhstev River, in this area, which will promote the tourism development.
Well, USAID has made the preservation and the sustainable management of water resources a priority worldwide, and so this opportunity to partner with the Coca-Cola Corporation under the Every Drop Matters project was a very interesting opportunity for us.
At protection of the Akhstev River and promotion of sustainable tourism around the world broadly include the construction of a wastewater treatment facility, the reconstruction of part of the internal sewage network and the internal collector, and the installation of the external water collector that links the sewage network to the treatment facility. Other foreseen activities include engaging the community of Dilijan in this initiative that will be centered on protection of the river's biodiversity and natural heritage. Finally, branding and promoting the river as a site for sustainable tourism is an ultimate goal.
Ownership of the society itself, because I mean in the project we have serious component of the social mobilization to mobilize schools, I mean university, municipality itself, public at large, you know, to contribute to the clean environment and then to take care of that. So we are really value that component of the project as well. And touristic aspect of the issue, of course. I mean, we hope that city will benefit for his touristic sites.
Gachka River is situated in the Lika district in the valley close to the town of Otocha. The water of the reservoir is very clean and rich in oxygen, and it supports a rich and characteristic ecosystem. The water source at Gachka is the principal supply of drinking water for the entire coastal area of the foot of Velebit mountain and for several islands as well.
Importance of this project is actually to local people to draw their attention of the uniqueness of the river, but also of the huge resources of fresh water, fresh drinking water that they are actually managing there. The aim is actually to contribute to the sustainable development of the activities in Gachka Valley, with special emphasis on preservation of the water and wetlands around.
In order to institute environmentally friendly policies in the Gachka River region, the Coca-Cola Company transferred their expertise in the field of water management through training and fieldwork carried out with local business owners. Training for potential and existing local tourism service providers was organized in the field of sustainable rural tourism practices.
Actually, two important things happened during the project implementation. The first was the identification and networking of local stakeholders that have a role in protection of the Gachka River. The second thing was the identification of a joint goal, and that was to brand the river and the valley.
Education programs for school children were developed. A water manual designed for the local population, local government, visitors, tourists, and school children on the importance of water preservation and water biodiversity, including protection of the natural habitat of the river and endangered species, was published. As a part of the activities geared toward developing economic opportunity through supporting rural and adventure tourism, a new detailed tourism map that contains cultural values and natural activities of the area was prepared.
Mi se nalazimo ovdje.
So this is a tourist map of the biking trails in Gaka Valley. As tourist entrepreneurs, the reason we decided to go finance the printing of this map is because each year we have a number of families visiting us, and mostly it is the husbands who go fishing. While their husbands are fishing, the rest of the family can actually take their biking tour, run a bike, and spend their time independently from their husbands.
Prolaze tu biciklističku stazu.
New tourist routes for the region's natural and cultural heritage were developed, and products and services for tourists were improved. Opportunities for growth were determined. Local initiatives were supported. Brand creation and public relation activities were undertaken for the publicity of Gachka as a sustainable tourism region.
What we actually wanted and managed to do is get together all the partners for the local community to sit together, think about the values that this area represents to them, think about the communication messages that it can deliver, and we made a brand architecture together with them. We made later the visual identity, we made logos, we made communication visual system. It was accepted by the local community, they started using it.
Gatska, it's just the name for before, in the past, was a lake for some peoples, and very, very beautiful lake with perfect water. But with branding, they go to the next level. Everybody uses Gatska right now like a synonym for something beautiful, something clean, something nice.
According to a UNDP survey conducted in 2005-2006, almost one-third of the Kazakh population does not have access to safe drinking water. Over half of these people live in rural regions. Low access to water in Kazakhstan, especially in certain regions, is a result of poor technical conditions of water supply facilities, in which repairs were conducted only within a limited scope due to the lack of funding for several years. The Every Drop Matters project sought to find rational, economical solutions to the water problems in Kazakhstan. In April 2007, the KAZAKHSTAN settlement was chosen from among 9 rural communities as the pilot project to improve access to drinking water and provision of water supply services.
We came over to the site, and in the first place we saw what is the state of water supply. And it turned over that it was not in a very easy situation. People had to carry water in their water vessels in winter, in any time, so it was inconvenient.
We need to carry our water from 200 meters away to the clinic, and it was not convenient because sometimes we need every minute to work. Before this project, we had problems with water in KAZAKHSTAN village and in school as well because we had to bring water from the neighboring villages. At school, we only had technical water, so we couldn't even wash our hands, and of course, we couldn't drink it.
We made up a plan of how to improve water access and so that people eventually will get the water into their homes. And thanks to all of the activities taken according to the action plan, we have the contractor has built 2.2 kilometers of the water pipes, and these pipes entered all of the 1,500 households of this village. Plus to that, a local school and local medical clinic received access to clean water.
Biz mına sayda ne var? Mınандай kişkentay.
We always had a source of water since 1964. We had this old water tank, but we had to carry it to our houses ourselves. Only in 2007, after UNDP and Coca-Cola started the Every Drop Matters project, did it become possible to have water in every house. We can wash with this water, we can use it as drinking water, so a lot of thanks to this project.
Onların adamlarına barlığına mыңda bir rahmet aytamiz.
Within the framework of the KAZAKHSTAN project, a cooperative of local water users was established to oversee the management and organization of the water supply facilities. In order to ensure the sustainability of water management training for local communities, the cooperative members, local government, and middle school students were included among the project activities. "66% of rural population in Romania, nearly 7 million people, do not have access to central water supply lines. In urban areas, this figure is around 8%. The water supply deficit is caused by the absence of sufficient infrastructure, the expansion, rehabilitation, and modernization of which has been limited by a lack of investment and financial resources. Additionally, low pricing of water and insufficient public awareness on issues of water conservation have meant there is an excessive amount of water consumption. As part of the regional Every Drop Matters initiative, the objective in Romania is to increase local communities' access to sustainable water supply systems and to develop a sustainable integrated rural water and waste management strategy. 3 remote villages of Saxeva County, Dorna, Kendrelinor, Kosna, and Poina Negri communes were selected as pilot regions for the project.
The Every Drop Matter project in Romania is actually a success story because it can clearly prove the fact that with little financial resources you can leverage more money.
We have decided that we have to address the training needs and the capacity building needs of the local authorities to access EU structural funds and EU rural development funds. We have obtained a EU funded project, not we, actually the local authorities, as a result of our training activities. Another I would say indicator of success was our strategy for water infrastructure development for the small communities with less than 2,000 inhabitants.
A local awareness-raising campaign was initiated as part of the project activities.
So the awareness campaign actually helped the local communities and every inhabitant of the local communities of this project site understand the importance of protecting the water. And we had several tactics employed to achieve this. One of the tactics being a face-to-face meeting and a discussion with each inhabitant of the local community.
Local people are very proud of their waters. They see it as a divine gift, as given from God, and they see their water, the quality, in terms of quality, perfect. We had to design an awareness campaign that would appeal to their emotional side. And so we have sent to each household a personalized letter. We are asking them to boil the water, not to drink water from the river, to be more careful when giving the water to the children.
There are two separate projects that were implemented in Turkey as part of the Every Drop Matters Regional Water Initiative. The first of these projects was the Beypazarı Kuyumcu Village Rooftop Water Harvesting Project. Access to safe and reliable drinking water sources is a major issue for poor and rural communities in many areas in Turkey, such as the Central Anatolia Plateau. People use ground or reservoir water for drinking and domestic purposes. The drop in groundwater levels, the poor quality of the water, and the economic burden of drilling deep wells reduce the potential of this method as a reliable source of drinking water. The only available option for villages to access water is by using the depots that are far from the city. Fetching water from long distances puts a burden on women and children.
Our water shortage is because of the droughts. It's been this way for 5 or 6 years now. We were not able to meet our needs. The state drilled a well, but there wasn't any water. There's a village fountain, but its water is not enough either. When it runs dry, we get the fire department from the Beypazarı municipality to bring in water with trucks. We've had quite some trouble.
Çok bir sıkıntımız var yani. Birleşmiş Milletler yetkilileri belediyemize geldikleri.
When the United Nations officials approached us along with Coca-Cola and ICARDA, wanting to do a joint project with our municipality, they asked for the village with the most severe water crisis. Although historically the Kuyumcu village near Beypazarı has been settled for over 5,000 years, it was suffering from emigration, and it was under the threat of termination because it was unable to supply water to its inhabitants through drilling or any other method. That is why we chose this location.
O nedenle en susuz köyümüzü tercih ettik.
Once the selection of the pilot site and the rainwater harvesting technology were completed, 12 houses in the area were equipped with the system.
In Beypazarı, working together with the municipality as well as the United Nations Development Program in that location, we have been working with a village and providing all of them the learning as well as the establishment of rainwater harvesting systems at their households. Many people visiting Beypazarı are seeing this achievement and they are asking the inhabitants of that village how to replicate the same system in their own households.
This is not a new technology. It's actually an indigenous technology and existing in the world for more than 1,000 years. What we do in this project is we use the modern methodologies and the materials and adapt this system to our century. Determination of this capacity of the system needs some work. We did the surveys and socioeconomic surveys and we made the rainfall analysis over 40 years. Beypazarı is in a semi-dry area where the rainfall is around 350 or 400 millimeters overall the year. Basically, it is like this. If you have 100 square meter of roof, and assuming that your rainfall is 400 millimeter over the year, then you manage to harvest 40 tons of water per year. And this amount of water is enough actually for a family of 4 members. The design of the system is actually very simple. What you need is a roof and a storage tank and a filtering system. In this project, as I said, we used the local capacity and the local materials to establish the site. So now the people living there in this dry area, they feel the ownership of the technology and they seriously enjoy it.
We've been using this system for 2 years now, and our water runs at all times. We are able to meet all our needs, including laundry, dishes, and water for our animals.
Drought has been a major problem for our village. Before this project was implemented, I really considered leaving the village. Once the project was implemented, a water tank was installed in my home, and I have completely changed my mind now. Bless everyone who has initiated this project, because I really was considering abandoning my village.
The other activities of BAPAZARA project include the dissemination of results and rainwater harvesting concept and raising public awareness through publications and programs on water consumption. The second project, implemented in Turkey as part of the Every Drop Matters initiative, is the Water Supply and Usage Improvement Project in the Saray municipality. Saray municipality is situated in the Çubuk Plateau near Ankara. It is a town that has rapid population increases in recent years due to migration. Despite this rapid growth, infrastructure problems plagued the settlement. Prior to the implementation of the Water Supply and Usage Improvement Project, the main supply pipe of the Saray municipality was 25 years old and in disrepair. Due to its old age and fragile structure, the pipe fractured and leaked frequently, leaving residents without water and increasing the possibility of contamination.
We used to have a 40% rate of leakage, which means that approximately 50,000 tons of water were wasted a year. This was a real problem. The municipal income was not sufficient. We would pray every day that the pipes wouldn't break. We couldn't increase water pressure for fear of breaking the pipes.
So what we did is basically we replaced this aging pipe and established a food-grade ductile water pipe, and we reduced the water losses to 0 point.
Saray district in Ankara is a particularly interesting story. We, in fact, there worked with the municipality to provide them totally healthy main water distribution artery. However, it was not just meant to provide the infrastructure support to the municipality. We worked together with UNDP and the university in Ankara to provide education to the women and the kids living in that district.
Bunun bu şekilde bütün bir yıl boyunca aklını düşündüğünüzde 3 metreküplük yani 3 tonluk bir süre geçti. Bir vatandaşımız geldi.
Someone approached me. His child was in second grade. He asked me, "What kind of a workshop did you give these children?" Now he won't even let us turn on a faucet in the house. So the child was actually patrolling the family home, telling them not to waste water. A primary school child is able to confront his father after this workshop. This means we've achieved our goal.
Ukraine is rich in natural springs, and they have always been surrounded by stories and legends moving from one generation to another, highlighting medicinal, rejuvenating, and other magic properties of the water. Nowadays, a big share of the natural springs are abandoned or poorly kept. The fountains are destroyed, and the majority of them are polluted and at risk of disappearing.
In Ukraine, only 80% of people in the cities have access to systems, to water provision through the central water system. In Ukraine also, only 20% people living in the villages have access to the central water systems. This is why the Every Drop Matters initiative is a very crucial partnership to ensure access to the good quality drinking water.
The project will apply a partnership approach by bringing together local authorities, community members, school children, and students to join efforts in preserving and protecting natural water resources and the environment.
We have analyzed all the achievement which was done around all the countries, and because of the priorities for Coca-Cola system in Ukraine are waste management, prevention of the air pollution, and of course water usage and conservation. So we decided that the frame of Every Drop Matters is the best frame for us.
Coca-Cola company, and I'm very pleased to welcome you at the inauguration of...
The sustainability of the intervention will be ensured by creating local ownership through involving the local authorities and communities from the very start of the project. The project will complement and also match ongoing partnership initiatives of UNDP Ukraine on local development, implemented jointly with various municipalities and local authorities.
One of the activities we are trying to develop is the public work. We are trying to implement and to change the mentality and the attitude of the population to water issues. One such activity is this program of purification and rehabilitation of springs, into which the EDM project can fit.
The project envisages development and implementation of a public awareness campaign on water and environment preservation, including an education component on water management.
Our main concern and our main idea was how to attract people's attention to the issue of water resources and preserving of water resources. We came to the idea that the best audience would be children, because children influence their parents, their families, and that's the future of the country. So if we put something to their mind, that will create a moment to the future of this country. We hope that by the end of the first year of it, we would have at least 15 different small projects of spring rehabilitation around the whole country. By that, we will make a real information and public campaign in a local and national mass media, and we would attract people to this issue.
The expected long-term impact of the Every Drop Matters initiative in Ukraine has increased local community awareness of water preservation and management, increased local skills in development and implementation of partnership community projects, and the enhancement of socially responsible and proactive behavior of young Ukrainians.
I learned about the Every Drop Matters project from the internet, and I got very interested in it. Our natural water springs and fountains need rehabilitation, and I'm very glad that we can join this process.
Each drop of water means life, and this project is very important for us because in our area there are also 6 lakes which are connected by the same stream, and we have an opportunity to clean the territory of these water bodies. For me, this project means that thanks to this, more people will understand the meaning of each drop, and that water is the most precious thing that mankind has.
The Black Sea Basin covers an area approximately the size of 1/3 of Europe, and it is the world's largest autonomous drainage basin. However, due to the long years of neglect, when all sorts of pollution and wastewater were dumped into the sea, it has become the world's most polluted sea as well.
There are different sources of pollution. One of them, we call it land-based sources of pollution. So there are pollutants coming from the land areas. These pollutants could arrive to the Black Sea either from the rivers, from the other sources, or from the even atmosphere. There are pollution coming from the rivers. Anything disposed to the rivers along the Black Sea, they will end up in the sea. The other one, as I have mentioned, are the litter. The litter disposing is not sufficient. around the Black Sea. So there are lots of pollution coming from the land in terms of litter.
Within the framework of the Every Drop Matters initiative, a project focusing on raising public awareness about the severe pollution of the Black Sea Basin and a communication network campaign has been initiated. International Black Sea Action Day has been celebrated every year since the Strategic Action Plan for the Protection of the Black Sea, which was signed on 31st of October 1996. But 2006 was the first time that a truly regional communication strategy was introduced.
In the Black Sea Basin, there are actually 16 million people living. Unfortunately, 30% of Europe's wastewater, drain water, is also flowing to Black Sea through the Danube River or the Dnipro River. Black Sea is under serious threat. On the 31st of October, we celebrated the Black Sea Day with the participation of more than 40,000 people in 154 activities. And through the media, we reached to 10 million people. The main idea was to give this information to the people sharing the Black Sea. What are the threats of the Black Sea and how we are polluting the Black Sea and what shall we do to prevent that?
Using the slogan, "The Black Sea is becoming polluted," the project is expanding its field of activities to include a Black Sea box prepared for children aged 9 to 12. The content of this fun-filled activity kit is being prepared by the World Wildlife Fund and is supported by the Black Sea Commission. Considering the importance of water in the reduction of poverty and in the health of humans and of the ecosystem, the management of water resources has become ever more important. The reduction and pollution of water resources is a result not just of natural limitations or the lack of financial resources and technologies, but also of deep mistakes in water management. As a result, overcoming the obstacles to water management must become a key priority, and necessary steps towards effective water management and efficient water utilization need to be taken without delay.